watching Reason and Theology Live. The show concentrates on theological topics, historical matters, and philosophical problems with content ranging from introductory material to in-depth examinations. And now, your host, Michael Lofton.
And welcome to Reason and Theology, everyone. Your host, Michael, on a Friday afternoon, doing a quick show here about Eastern Catholicism in Louisiana. But before we get to that, I do want to mention that we will be having an evening show tonight, probably around 6:30 or 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which will be an open mic with Mike, where you can call and ask whatever questions or chat with me, whatever you want to do. All right, but what we're doing here is discussing Eastern Catholicism in Louisiana, specifically calling people, well, I should say calling attention to people that you are welcome to contact me if you would like to pray in the Eastern Catholic tradition, or if you are an Eastern Catholic. What I'm trying to do here is organize a parish in Northeastern Louisiana, somewhere in Northeastern Louisiana. It will most likely start out in Monroe, Louisiana. Again, that is the northeastern part, but it doesn't have to stay in Monroe. It could move to Shreveport, where there are more people, or another place. But I think something is needed in northeastern Louisiana, because Eastern Catholicism in Louisiana is something that is very scarce. There is actually only one parish in Louisiana, which is in New Orleans, which is about 4.5 hours away from Monroe, Louisiana, from the northeastern part. So it's great if you live in the New Orleans area. You already have a parish. There's a Ruthenian Eastern Catholic parish there. You're more than welcome to check that out. Highly encouraged to do so. So there is that for southern Louisiana folks, but what about for people who live in the northern area? There's nothing. There's nothing beyond that one parish in New Orleans. There is nothing in Eastern Catholicism, not a mission, not a group that's meeting for prayers that I'm aware of, nothing. And so I would like to start something in this area. If you are in the Ruston area, Monroe, West Monroe area, Shreveport, maybe Baton Rouge, a little bit of a drive for you, but maybe even Baton Rouge, I highly recommend that you get in touch with me so that we can see about organizing something. The way that you could get in touch with me, best way to do it is reasonandtheology@gmail.com. Email me. Best way to do it, and put in the title there, especially if you could do it in all caps, that this is in reference to Eastern Catholicism in Louisiana video. So that way it'll really grab my attention. I get a lot of emails on a daily basis, but I'll definitely give priority to those if I see those coming in. Somebody says Divine Liturgy and Lanyap. Yeah, you're from Louisiana if you know what the word lanyap means. You're definitely Cody. Cody Hayes is the one who said that. Cody, you're either from Louisiana or you currently live in Louisiana. One of the two. There's Anthony Divany says there's no Eastern churches in Mississippi, I believe. Correct. There aren't any. Which is sad, because you have places like Jackson, Mississippi that are fairly populated, and you would think you would have something there. That's 2 hours away from Monroe. Not available. So even if you're in the Mississippi area, kind of close to Northeast Louisiana, where you can make it within a reasonable drive, maybe as far as Jackson, Mississippi, contact me. So you don't actually have to be in Louisiana. We can figure something else out. And like I said, it doesn't have to stay in Monroe, Louisiana, but that's probably where it would originate, and then we could move it to where the majority of the people who would be interested are located, at least potentially. But what we would be able to do, as far as the proposition, is start out by praying Vespers. We could pray Vespers together. There is a reader's version of Vespers that laymen are authorized to pray whenever there's no priest available. There's also the reader's version of the Typico, which I recently just did a show on. And one is able to pray that also on Sundays. In fact, you could pray it at any time, but it's especially fitting for Sunday. Instead of the divine liturgy, if you don't have a divine liturgy, you would do the Reader's Typica. So this group could meet in Monroe, Louisiana, and do the Reader's Typica or do Vespers. There's also a Reader's Orthros, which is morning prayer. I mean, that's an option too. So there's quite a few things that laymen can do without a priest initially. Now, once there's enough people that are gathered together, regularly meeting in Monroe and praying these prayers together, then the bishop will consider it as a mission parish and will be able to send a priest on occasion to celebrate the divine liturgy, and it will grow from there. Um, so it is able to turn into something that would be a full-blown mission parish, but until then, one would need to demonstrate that there's enough people coming together and praying together, Vespers, Orthros, the Typica, something, that there's enough interest. Now, one does not have to be Eastern Catholic to do this. You do not have to be canonically Eastern Catholic. You can be a Latin Rite Catholic. You can be a non-Catholic and are just interested in Eastern Catholicism. If you gravitate to especially the Byzantine tradition and the Byzantine way of praying and spirituality, whether you're Catholic or not, you could be a part of this. But it's especially for those who are Catholics. But they could even be, like I say, Latin Rite Catholics who are interested in the Byzantine style of prayer and the liturgy, or just want to support an Eastern Catholic community and you want to remain in the Latin Rite. That's perfectly fine as well. But I wanted to bring this to your attention. Like I said, it was going to be a short video here, but I wanted to go ahead and put the word out and, put the feelers out, see if there's anybody who's really interested in it. If not, I'll continue to pray the Vespers and the Typica, alone here in Monroe. But if there are other people that would like to join in that, I want to be aware of that so that we can come together into a community and pray with one another and see if it leads to something. So again, if this is something you're interested in, reach out to me, reasonandtheology@gmail.com. The actual email is right there also in the description, reasonandtheology@gmail.com. Put in the subject, all capital letters, Eastern Catholics in Louisiana, something like that. That'll get my attention, and I'll touch base with you, and we'll see what we can do. I see something here in the chat. Hey, Michael, do you think it's possible to get Phaser on the show? No, I've asked him over 6 times, and over 6 times he has declined. I won't ask him again, so I'm not going to waste my time with Phaser. Weinschel says, sounds good. Fellow Catholics from Louisiana do this. Yes, indeed. I don't know how many there really are in Louisiana who would be interested in the Eastern style of prayer. There's not a lot of Catholics in Northern Louisiana. There are a lot in Southern Louisiana, but Northern Louisiana is something else. There's not a lot here. It's mostly Baptists and Charismatics. So there's not a lot of Catholics, let alone of more of a Eastern tradition. So there aren't a lot of Orthodox. There aren't a lot of Catholics. Again, it's mostly Baptist and Pentecostal, Charismatic. So if, there are people out there, I want to be aware of it, but just the sense that I get of things, there's just not a whole lot. So if we can maybe come together, maybe with a little bit of a drive, I think that we could maybe start something. If you look at the Eastern Catholic parishes online, you'll notice something. You'll notice that there are parishes, in all the other states, Arkansas, Texas, and all the way out there. But in Louisiana, there's only one parish. And then especially in Northeastern Louisiana, and above it and to the right of it and to the left of it, it's all a huge hole. It's a desert. There's nothing there within usually 4 to 5 hours. if you're in my area and you want to go to an Eastern Catholic parish, you're going to have to drive 4 to 5 hours, or more, just depending on what direction we're going. So it is a desert right now. And I want to see if we can do something about that. So again, contact me, reasonandtheology@gmail.com, and we'll discuss it. Soman7 says, as far as I know, if you belong to Latin Catholicism and would like to become Eastern Catholic, you have to formally require permission. It's supposedly a one-way ticket. That would be if you want to actually change your jurisdiction canonically. You don't have to do that to be part of an Eastern Catholic church, as far as go there on Sundays and take the sacraments and worship there. You don't have to do that to even be part of a group that we would establish here in Monroe, Louisiana, where we would pray together. You don't even have to be a Catholic for that matter. But if you want to actually formally register at a parish or something like that, yeah, you would change your jurisdiction, which is pretty easy to do, as I understand it. But that wouldn't be necessary for what we're doing here. It wouldn't even be necessary if there were a parish. A Latin Catholic can come to an Eastern Catholic parish anywhere in the world and receive the sacraments, and they don't have to change jurisdictions. They can remain Latin Rite all day long. Won't matter. So while what you say is true, it really isn't relevant to anything that we're discussing or doing here. Let's see. Looking through, time to convert them Baptismatics. Yeah, right. So what we're trying to do. MV says you do not have to formally change your jurisdiction to register as a parishioner. Okay, good to know. I thought that you did to register as a parishioner. Okay, I stand corrected on that one. So you could even be a registered parishioner at an Eastern Catholic parish and be Latin Rite. So really, in the majority of cases, changing your jurisdiction would really not be necessary. So do you enjoy praying the Akathist to the Theotokos? Absolutely. I tend to do, however, the Typica and Vespers. Those are the ones that I tend to focus on. The Reader's Typica and the Vespers. Again, you can get readers' versions of all of these that are appropriate for a layman. It takes out the parts that are specific to a priest, and it's appropriate for a layman. And in fact, it's encouraged when there is no priest that the laity would come together and pray this to preserve the faith. So if you're interested in the Reader's Typica that I pray on a daily basis, go and watch that video that I just did. It was, in fact, just a few days ago, I think. Let's see. 3 days ago. Yeah. It's called Introducing an Incredible Lay Devotion Designed for Catholics. That's what the name of the show is. And I'm going over the Reader's Typica. And in fact, I even do on video. Here's how you do the Reader's Typica. So I go through the Typica. I give you links to it so you can access it for free. And I even show you in video how to do it. Hallelujah says, don't move to Shreveport. Bossier is better. Well, I mean, they're 10 minutes apart. So really doesn't matter, in my opinion. Right next to each other. But if you're in the Shreveport area or the Bossier area, let me know, because you're an hour and a half away, and we could get together. And it doesn't even have to be in Monroe. We could meet Midway or somewhere else and pray together in the Eastern tradition. Devin asks, do you prefer to pray in the morning or in the evening? What's your discipline regarding the Jesus prayer? As far as when I prefer, I do a morning prayer and an evening prayer. In the morning, I generally do the Typica instead of Orthros. That may change in the future, by the way. I may end up changing to where I do the Orthros in the morning, as you traditionally do, and then Vespers in the evening, and the Typica usually on Sunday. That will probably end up being the way I do things, but right now I do the Typica in the morning and Vespers at night. So as far as the discipline regarding the Jesus prayer, I pray throughout the day, the Jesus prayer, sporadically. And that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point. While you're walking into the house, while you're taking the garbage out, while you are making your lunch, while you're doing this or that, while you're taking a shower, you pray the Jesus prayer. That's my discipline in reference to the Jesus prayer. I'm generally praying it while I'm doing things. And the idea is that you would pray it so much that it becomes this thing where you're praying at all times, right? Cease without praying, that St. Paul talks about. So that's kind of the idea. So that's my discipline as far as doing it. I don't have a specific time that I sit down and pray it like one would do maybe the rosary, which is fine if you do have a specific time. I don't have a specific time for the Jesus prayer. I do have a specific time for the Typica and Vespers on a daily basis, but I don't have a specific time for the Jesus prayer. I do it throughout the day while I'm working on things, in between stuff like that. I see somebody talking about the rule of Pachomius. We in fact did a show 2 days ago on the Desert Fathers, and we talked about Saint Pachomius. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check it out. It's called "Who Are the Desert Fathers?" Looking through the chat here, see, Ruston is a great middle ground between Monroe and Shreveport. Yeah, and that's possible. Doesn't have to be in Monroe, but it could be. And I have this little, small chapel that I built here. So y'all have seen videos of it. That would be a really place that's conducive for meeting and doing prayers. In fact, I could probably hold 30, 40 people in here. It's a really large office. So I could fit in front of the little chapel that I built here inside the office at least 40 people, which I'm sure it would never be to the point that there's 40 people, right? But I'm just saying I can fit a fair amount of people in here, and there's plenty of driveway for people to park as well. So it could be a sustainable location until it moves on to another place. So that's why I say I would suggest Monroe, because I already have a place to meet. Part of the problem is whenever you're starting out with things like this, you don't have a place to meet. But well, fortunately, we do. I built this thing so I can pray daily, but it's large enough for other people to come and join as well. Taste says, "I'll go if we only if we hold hands during our Father." I was about to say only if we don't. Why do we have to do that? Like, why? What's this deal about holding the hand during the why? Why do you want to hold somebody's sweaty, wet palms? Like, I don't want to hold your hand. I'm sorry. That's number one. And then it's usually sweaty and clammy. No, I'm good. I'm good. Hallelujah says taste blocked. Catholic Gabe, just curious, is the rule of the Theotokos according to Seraphim of Sarov identical to the Holy Rosary? No, I don't believe that it is. Last I checked, it's been a while since I've looked at it, but there's some distinctions there. But I would say that the Rosary is compatible with the Eastern tradition and Eastern way of praying, if that helps any. Soman says, because you love him, he's your sibling. That's why I would hold his hand. No, I can love somebody as a brother in Christ and not have to hold their hand during Our Father. I mean, just saying, it doesn't logically follow, right? It doesn't necessarily follow that I got to hold somebody's hand during Our Father. Why do we have to do this? I'm always that rude guy. Before COVID, I was always that rude guy at the Latin Mass. Everybody's holding hands during the Our Father except me, and I won't hold your hand. I'm that rude guy who will make you feel really awkward. Who you try to go to hold his hand, and he just, no. I'm that guy. Is Eastern Catholicism in communication with the Holy See? It's not only in communication, it's also in communion with the Holy See. So there are over 21 different churches in the Catholic Church. 20 of them are Eastern Catholic churches. So NYM Gray says, I'm not holding anyone's hand. Michael has cooties. I think that then you'd be great. We don't have to hold each other's hands during Our Father. This is wonderful. Come and check me out, and we'll pray the Orthros or something together, and we can, keep distance or whatever. Is accepting Fatima against Eastern thinking? I don't know why it would be. Why would accepting Fatima be against Eastern thinking? I can't think of anything that would make the two mutually exclusive. Let's see here. Catholic Gabe said, "Wait a moment, holding hands during a Latin mass." I meant Latin Rite mass is Novus Ordo, but no, I've never seen that at any of the Latin masses that I've gone to. The holding hands. I meant Latin Rite Novus Ordo. If I said Latin mass, I was referring to Latins. The Latin Rite Novus Ordo. Let's see what else here. Looking through. Andy says in communion rather. Sorry, typo error. Right, I know what you meant. Yeah, the Eastern Catholic churches are in communion with the Catholic Church. That's why they're called Eastern Catholics and not Eastern Orthodox. Eastern Catholics are Eastern Orthodox who have come into communion with the Catholic Church. That's what they are. Let's see. If Eric meant Eastern Orthodoxy, I think the strong papal emphasis in the apparitions at Fatima would present a problem. As far as Eastern Orthodoxy, it would present a problem. But as far as Eastern Catholicism and the Eastern tradition, no. And I think he asked about the Eastern tradition, and Eastern Orthodoxy and the Eastern tradition are not synonymous, right? Because of Eastern Catholics, they're not synonymous. Eastern Orthodox are part of the Eastern tradition, so are Eastern Catholics. That's what I mean by there's nothing in there that would necessarily be against the Eastern tradition. Now, would it be against Eastern Orthodoxy? I could see how somebody would maybe argue that. All right, well, looking through the chat, I don't see anything else, no comments or questions, so we'll go ahead and leave it there. But like I said, contact me, reasonandtheology@gmail.com, if you're interested in the Louisiana or Mississippi or northern Arkansas, or very, very, very eastern part of Texas. You'd have about an hour and 45-minute drive, but somewhere around there. So very eastern part of Texas, northern part of Arkansas, somewhere in northeastern or central Louisiana, or western Mississippi. I think that we could find something together. So again, contact me and we'll see what we can do. And again, put in the description Eastern Catholics in Louisiana so that I know that that's what this email is about. Kevin says Father Josiah Trenum thinks Fatima is legit. There are some Orthodox who would say that, right? I've seen that before. All right. Well, I think that is it. I appreciate y'all watching this. Help spread this on your social media so we can spread the word and get the word out there. Also, go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. There's quite a few people who watch this show that have not subscribed yet. So hit that subscription button, hit the bell for notification when I go live, hit the like button. Let me know your comments there in the comment section. And also check us out, patreon.com/reason and theology. And you'll be able to support what we're doing there and also get access to extra content. All right, we will see y'all tonight for Open Mic with Mike. God bless.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, office, or any kind of property anywhere in the world, you're going to want to call Real Estate for Life, and they're going to connect you with a Catholic agent. Now, that agent will donate a portion of their commission upon sale, and Real Estate for Life will donate 75% of that gift to a pro-life organization at no cost to you. Call Real Estate for Life at 1-877-LIFE-US1 or text them 248-431-1440. If you care about the pro-life cause, call them now.